A very good evening and welcome. This is News First Weekend Primetime News here on MTV Sports. I'm Ramesh Ugal Bandala. Let's start off with a look at your headlines tonight. Prices of fuel increased once again from midnight yesterday. Subject Minister says that the fuel prices were increased to cover the losses of the CPC.
පසුගිය කාලය තුල රාජ්‍ය ලංකා කයිතෙල් සංස්ථාව රුපියල් බිලියන 89ක පමණ දැවැන්ත පාඩුවක් අපිට සිද්ධ වුණා.
Fares of three-wheelers also increased with effect from tomorrow. And the president, speaking in Kandy, says that one should serve the country without expecting anything in return. Now, it has been decided to increase the three-wheel taxi fares with effect from tomorrow. Chairman of the All Island Three-Wheel Drivers and Owners Association, G. Sudhir Jaruk, said that this decision had been reached due to the fuel price hike.
Although the prices of petrol rose on a number of occasions from 2008 to 2012, the three-wheel taxi fare remained at a constant 32 rupees per kilometre. However, the fare was increased to 35 rupees in urban areas during the first quarter of 2012. This was later increased to 38 rupees at the beginning of this year. With the latest price revision, the current taxi fare stands at 40 rupees per kilometre. The three-wheel industry is facing a precarious situation. We cannot bear the constant change in fuel prices. As a result, with effect from midnight today, we will increase the fare charge per kilometre to 40 rupees. The initial charge of 50 rupees will not be changed. Meanwhile, the three-wheel fare for a kilometre outside urban areas has been increased to 38 rupees.
Minister of Petroleum Industries Anuri Priyadarshini Appa says that the prices of fuel were increased to cover the losses incurred by the Ceylon Petroleum Industries. The Ceylon Petroleum Corporation decided to increase fuel prices with effect from midnight yesterday.
According to the new revision, the price of a litre of 90 and 95 octane of petrol has been put up by 3 rupees. Thereby, the new price of a litre of 90 octane petrol is 162 rupees. The new price of a litre of 95 octane petrol is now 170 rupees. The price of a litre of auto diesel has been increased by 6 rupees, while the price of a litre of super diesel has been increased by 3 rupees. Meanwhile, the Lanka IOC also said that they too had increased the price of petrol by 3 rupees. Over the past 2 years, the prices of petrol in Sri Lanka was increased on 4 occasions. Based on the current economy in the country, we cannot provide fuel on concessionary rates. I think it is after 1 year that the CPC has increased fuel prices. During the past year, the CPC bore the burden taking into account the situation the people were in. During the past, the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation incurred a massive loss of 89 billion rupees. It is because of that loss that we had to increase the prices. Although the minister made this comment at the event held in Kolonnawa on the 12th, to welcome the minister, the deputy minister expressed this view. Who is saying that the CPC is incurring losses? Who is saying that the CPC should incur losses? If we are capable of importing fuel and selling it by comparing the international oil prices, who is to say that this is a loss incurring institution? This institution should have incurred losses in the past, but it did not. In comparison with the dollar in the present context, the price of a litre of petrol becomes 106 rupees when you calculate the prices of purchasing and storage after it reaches the harbour. Likewise, the price of diesel comes to an amount less than 108 rupees. This price increase is clearly the result of the state failure to pay off the over 70 billion in loans and has burdened the people. It has failed to stop the payments of millions in dollars for the delays of ships. It has failed to obtain the compensation related to the importations of substandard fuel. This price increase was not made to protect the CPC or to benefit the CPC employees. Before the 2011 Valentine's Day price increase, the price of crude oil in the world market was $101. Then the rupee went up to 132 from 114. Now with this year's Valentine's Day, the price of fuel were also increased. But what is the price of crude oil? $95. And the rupee is 128 compared to the dollar. Based on the economics I know, a logic cannot be made that this price increase was made due to the increase in the world market.
ලෝක වෙළඳ පොලේ තෙල් මිල වැඩි වෙච්ච නිසා අද මේ 2013 වැලන්ටයින් තෙල් මිල වැඩි කරන්න සිද්ධ වුණා.
මේ තෙල් මිල වැඩි කිරීම තුලින්
Who has to suffer after the fuel prices were increased? Not the rulers of this country who were appointed by the people. The rulers receive fuel benefits. The people who appointed the rulers have been forced to face the consequences of corruption, fraud and theft that is taking place. There should be a formula to reduce the prices of fuel within this country according to the world market prices.
අපේ රටේ ඉන්ධන මිල බස්සවන මිල සූත්‍රයක් තිබෙන්නට ඕන.
On to our developing story tonight. The United Nations Human Rights Council session is scheduled to begin on Monday the 25th in Geneva. Spokesperson for the UN Human Rights Commissioner Rupert Colville, speaking to News First, said that nearly 90 individuals, including foreign affairs ministers from around the world, are due to take part in this session.
I mean, the Human Rights Council is a massive event. It goes on for 3 weeks. It covers, hundreds of subjects and, many different countries. So, obviously, Sri Lanka is one country and one issue, but it's by no means the only thing on the agenda. So, we're going into starting that whole process on Monday. There are dozens and dozens of ministers. I think around 90 ministers, one president, one prime minister, so two heads of states basically, and something like 90 ministers, foreign ministers, justice ministers, etc. attending. So it's a very, very major event. Sri Lanka is certainly on the agenda, but it's not the one and only item or even necessarily the main item.
According to the Minister of External Affairs, a number of individuals who will represent Sri Lanka at the upcoming UNHRC session have already left for Geneva. Director of the Ministry's Communication Unit, Rodney Pereira, noted that 2 members of the Ministry are among the members of the delegation that have already arrived in Geneva. The Attorney General's Department meanwhile notes that 3 members of their department have also landed in Geneva. The Ministry of External Affairs notes that the rest of the Sri Lankan delegation would arrive in Geneva by today or tomorrow. The Sri Lankan delegation to the UNHRC session is being led by Minister Mahinda Samarasinghe.
Now, a group of Tamil Nadu MPs from the Congress party met Indian Premier Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh yesterday to discuss the upcoming UN Human Rights Council session. Congress parliamentarian Sudarshan Nachiyappan shared these thoughts with News First after the conclusion of the meeting.
Congress members of the parliament elected from the state of Tamil Nadu for both houses of the parliament met Honorable Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh and asserted the importance of the equality and equal status for Sri Lankan Tamils, as refugees who are living in Tamil Nadu and other places should also be given equal status, and they should be given back their houses, their agricultural lands and status in all respects. These are the issues which we discussed, and Honorable Prime Minister assured that India will take the same stand which it has already taken in the Geneva Convention, and also whenever the top level leaders are discussing these issues. And we are asserting that Sri Lankan relationship and also the people's equality are very important for India.
Recently, News First reported on the deaths of dolphins in the waters of Kandakulya in Kalpidia. News First decided to visit the area to look at the current situation.
News First provincial correspondent Rowan Pereira set off from Kandakulya in search of the spot where dolphin sightings are frequent. The Kandakulya beach is incidentally one of the scenic beaches in the country. The reason is because it is easy to explore the coral reefs and observe dolphins.
I'm right now 5 kilometers away from the Kandakulya beach. The speciality here is that 4,000 to 5,000 dolphins can be seen in these waters. The spot is frequently visited not only by foreigners but by other local tourists as well.
The short-sighted actions of several persons has put the very existence of this place at risk.
The country is developing and these areas can attract tourists. It is the responsibility of the people to protect these areas.
The area boasts of around 100 tour guides who earn a considerable income through this. Speaking to News First, they say that the use of illegal fishing gear has resulted in the current issue.
It does not matter how a person engages in fishing as long as it does not harm innocent creatures like the dolphins. Dolphins live among tuna and other fish. If the fishermen destroy this, they too will lose a lot. Local and foreign tourists come here and enjoy. We must protect the dolphins.
After travelling several more nautical miles, our correspondent managed to reach the Uchumune island in the area. It was clearly evident that not only dolphins are at risk, the coral reef, which adds beauty to the sea, in the area is also at risk. It is the view of many, including the locals, that more concern should be shown towards the protection of such areas that are tourist attractions.
Staying in local news, President Mahinda Rajapaksa paid homage to the Temple of the Sacred Tooth Relic in Kandy this morning.
The president, who paid homage to the Sacred Tooth relic, later visited the Askari Mahavihara. The president met with Mahanayaka of the Askari chapter, Most Venerable Udugama Sri Buddharakita Mahatero, and obtained his blessings. The president also visited the Malvatu Mahavihara and met with Most Venerable Tibbaduave Sumangala Mahatero. The conclusion of the RISCO 2013 International Scout Gathering took place last evening at the Bogambara grounds under the auspices of President Mahinda Rajapaksa. Around 5,000 scouts and girl guides representing all districts of Sri Lanka and 30 countries attended the closing ceremony. The world's largest scarf was also displayed to the president. Country and religion is a part of our lives. When you are serving, you don't expect anything in return. Our ancestors as well as the public leaders have showed the importance of what your responsibilities should be towards your country and not to think what you would receive from your country.
Time now to take a look at Action TV. Nearly 7,000 tea smallholders in the Yatinura electorate contribute to the Tea Shakti Fund. The money invested in this fund was supposed to be used to construct a tea factory. However, on the 30th of June 2011, Action TV revealed that the fate of this tea factory was being delayed each day. It has been over 11 years since preparations were first made to construct this tea factory in the Manikdevala area in Kandy. The first foundation stone for the tea factory was laid in the year 2000. However, this factory was built up to this level thanks to a second foundation stone which was laid in the year 2002. The only act committed after laying the first foundation stone was to hand over the contract of constructing the factory to a private contractor and paying him 40% of the estimated cost, even though construction activities had not commenced. Nearly a month after the initial Action TV revelation, the Deputy Minister of Plantation Industries intervened in the matter and promised to complete construction of this factory within 1 month. Action TV made yet another revelation about the plight of this factory nearly 1 year after the Deputy Minister made this statement. Furthermore, it has been 11 months since the machines used at a factory located in the Pansaltanne area in Matale were removed and transported to this location. Several machines which had parts made of copper had also been stolen from this location, while 2 security guards had been on duty. Yet another foundation stone was laid at the location of the factory last Thursday. This is incidentally the third foundation stone laid within a span of 12 years.